ways you can go around that, but you know, you got to educate them about the law and know it yourself. Hey, but listen, people, you know, I want y'all to be able to identify this, because I'm in Atlanta right now. I want y'all to be able to identify what toxic femininity is, especially when it exists, right? So, case in point, I come down in the hotel lobby of where I was staying at, and I seen two men arguing with each other in an expressively effeminate manner, to where their emotions were flying, their wrist was broken, they was doing a lot of this when they was talking. And the brother felt in a manner to where he had no power. He felt powerless in that moment, no way to really defend himself or even speak in a reasonable, logical manner to where he couldn't even express himself and communicate his points across. He felt, it looked like he almost was getting teary-eyed, you know. And when you see men expressing themselves in that manner to where they become catty and things of that nature, because when you talk about feminine, you're talking about traits or characteristics usually aligned with the female, you know what I mean, or a woman. So when you see a man expressing those particular traits and he doesn't have the ability to grab himself and to rise above emotions, right, into think in a logical capacity, then that's when he's no longer operating within that masculine energy. So therefore, he actually becomes toxic and feminine. And toxic meaning something that is poisonous. So there's nothing wrong with being feminine, but then when you have that poisonous feminine side of yourself, that emotional expression that can't be controlled through that logical and reasonable mathematical thinking brain power that the masculine man supposed to have, where he not only have power over self, but it also gives him power over others, because he can utilize his will, right, to control his environment. So what you see in Atlanta is, you look around, because this is something that's been taught wrong. They say that men have toxic masculinity, right? But they never talk about the toxic femininity. But the reality of it is that women have toxic masculinity and men have toxic femininity. And that's something that you need to look at, because when a woman can't control herself and she tries to express herself or move in a manner of the masculine element, especially when she's been through trauma or she has to be put into a position that is not normally her position, then she overcompensate with masculine energy to move about the world. So what it becomes, though, her masculinity becomes poisonous to her. So therefore it becomes a toxic masculine suppression or expression in her movement. And then when a man doesn't have his ability to express himself correctly, which would be the feminine aspect of himself, he becomes poisonous to himself. So therefore it becomes toxic femininity that he expresses, and not toxic masculinity. I know that we hear these things and we run with them, but you got to be a critical thinker for yourself so you'll know what you're actually seeing. And this is the way that we correct the actual problem, and we start moving towards the solution. So instead of pointing out that's toxic, no, point out what is healthy masculinity. A man who is in line with those balance of energies of the masculine and feminine inside himself, to where he can rise above emotions, not the fact that they're non-existent, but he rises above it so that he can have that mathematical, rational, reasoning, thinking mind, to where he has to input power. You cannot be a man without the duty of wanting power, right? We talk about freedom all the time, but power should be the goal. Because what is a free man without power? He's powerless. So if somebody wants to enslave him, how can he stop someone else if he doesn't have the will? He doesn't have that power producing element within inside of self to input his will into reality through the output of his mind. So you have to know the difference between the toxic. So know the difference between the toxic femininity and the toxic masculinity. And do not let the world sell you anything different. Tap in. Y'all gonna have to share this one. This was life changing right here. Y'all gonna make sure y'all go share this one. Man, peace and blessings. I just want y'all to know what y'all observing when y'all looking out here, because nobody talks about the existence of the imbalance in the male, right? That likes another male, that doesn't have control over his own emotions, and it's expressed in a manner like a little girl, which is why he dresses and behaves in the same manner as a little girl and desire the things as a little girl, which is a boy, right? So nobody talks about that, because that opens up a larger conversation in identifying mental health issues and toxicity within the LGBT community. But nobody talks about those mental health issues, so therefore it actually does a disservice to those who are involved in that community to now seek and have outreach and help and allow that to be an actual public conversation, So therefore, publication of those mental illnesses can be brought to the forefront, and individuals can begin to reach a resolution within inside themselves to rebalance themselves. Because if you're a male and you don't have the ability to protect yourself, isn't that wrong when you have the masculine makeup? So therefore, you are not within your divine hierarchy. You're not within your potential. You're something that's mutated against itself. So when you see a lot of these males that have this toxic femininity, you wonder, how come this man acts as if he can't protect himself, but he has the same physiological and biological makeup as the other male? So it must be a psychological issue that doesn't allow him to utilize his masculinity in a correct manner. You know what I'm talking about?
My man said, leave my building, sir.
I mean, lack of fathers, well, the reality of it is that it's not the particularly...
He said that like he owned the building.
It's not, yeah. That's the same thing to do that the other Marriott said.
Wait.
He was, so I ain't even tell you, for one, I'm going to address this real quick, is that black men are actually in their children's lives either at the same rate as any other ethnicity or even more. So it's the lack of black family where black men and women together, but not only just having a black family, because it don't matter if you got a man in your life, but he has toxic femininity as well. It doesn't matter you got a woman in your life, she got toxic masculinity. They have to be in line and to raise the right children. So it's the right man that is in his divinity that raises the son to grow into his, to be greater than the father. So we continue to perpetuate an even greater generation. But I was at the Marriott yesterday, and when we was in the lobby, me and Bashir was talking, and I think I might have got excited. I don't even remember what I said, but I used some cuss words while I was speaking, and a guy yelled over from when he was at the not yesterday, but the day before yesterday, the other hotel. The guy yelled over. It's like, you can't use that language. And in here, people might be offended by it or something like that. He said it really loud. He like 15 feet across. So I thought, first of all, I'm like, well, who the hell are you talking to? And so I asked him, first of all, I say, where's the signs? Is this a rule that individuals cannot use explicit language was inside, the confines of this lobby? And he was just saying that no, people might not want to hear. So I said, wait a minute, there's no other people around besides you. So are you saying you don't want to hear it, or these imaginary people? Right? So anyway, fast forward in the conversation, to make a long story short, white guy came over, that was his manager. He was like, what's the problem? Then that's when the black dude kind of shut down. So, I switched the conversation from one that was using explicit language to start using dangerous language. So we start talking about the plight of the black man, the white man, and reparations, and adios, and cooning, and a bunch of different things, and even start breaking down the history of the Marriott. He's listening. At first, I didn't have my crown on. So I put my crown on, and then the guy that was behind us, he was like this African bruh. He turned around, and he was like, oh my God, who are you? I love your crowns. I love everything you got going on. All right, be blessed.
All right, bro, that's up.
And then he was like, he was the ambassador in Ghana. His name was Ambassador Tunde. He was the ambassador in Ghana. And he wanted to book us for speaking and all kind of different stuff. And figure out all the things that we had going on so he can stamp us. But then that's when he asked us for our information and stuff. So I went and asked the guy that was at the counter. And then all of a sudden he realized, like, oh shit, I'm talking to somebody. Blessings to you, good brother.
Yo, can I hug you guys, bro? Like on some G shit? I mean, not on no disrespectful shit, but that's just the amount of love that I feel from those videos when y'all be speaking, because I appreciate the way that y'all, mainly, I hear you speaking most. I appreciate the way that you articulate yourself and you navigate those words, bro, because it helps me understand parts of myself that I've been thinking about. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
I just appreciate y'all for just being there.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you tapping in.
Yeah, I'm about to get one of those crowns.
Let me know, man. I got them on me now, man.
For sure.
I stay prepared. I don't get ready.
Right,
You know
I already
what
know,
I'm
look.
talking about?
For sure, man. But look, I'm going to let y'all go, man.
Yes, sir.
My name Rose. Rose?
Nice to meet you, Rose. You be blessed.
Appreciate you.
I better ask for a hug now. Listen, people. I like people, okay? But I'm not a hugger. It's not my thing. Especially not in Atlanta. Ain't gonna happen. But you can get a strong dap. You get handshake. You know what I mean? Energy, done. But the hug, see, I don't know everybody's situation. So I'm just not going to be hugging people. Now, the young brother did have him a young lady over there. You know what I mean? She can get a hug. You know what I mean? Because that's masculine, feminine energy, right? But everybody don't get a hug like that. You know what I'm talking about? Nah. I mean, I hug women if she's not married or things of that nature, and it's an appropriate manner. Not to where you hug and you trying to throw all of your tantric sexual energy on it. You know what I'm talking about? Not no explicit hug. But yeah, man, I appreciate the guys out here, man. I be tapping in so many people thus far since I've been out here. Probably go grab me some eat. But the moral of that story I was telling Billy, I threw on that crown, man, and everything changed. But I gotta go. Blue Pill calling me, and we about to get tapped in, and we might be doing a pop-up shop in Atlanta before we leave. And we also doing consultations till Monday. So if you want to schedule a consultation from now till Monday, click the link in the bio or